Hola amigos, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma Bennet and I am a UK-based writer of contemporary romance, Regency romance now, the occasional children's picture book, and soon to be non-fiction for writers. Anyway, I wanted to speak to you today about my experiences on Fiverr as a developmental editor and beta reader. So I began on Fiverr at the beginning of the year. It's now August, so I've been on there for about 8 months. The reason that I decided to join Fiverr was just because I really love beta reading. I really love being a developmental editor, and I've picked up jobs doing that kind of work over the last about 15 years, something like that. And my main source of income from doing that kind of work was from the Romantic Novelists Association, where I'm a reader for their new writer scheme, where writers who haven't been published before send in their manuscripts, and then published authors such as myself go over them and give feedback. So I was basically just wanting to get more jobs along those lines. Now, the reason for this is that last year I was lucky enough to have my self-published books taken on by a traditional publisher. Now, my publisher Joffrey Books have done an absolutely amazing job with those stories. I'm so happy with what they've done, but obviously I needed to take my books off of Amazon to unpublish them completely quite a while before they were published by my new publisher, and then royalties take a while to come through from publishers, and so I knew that I was going to be without writing income for probably about a year, and I wanted to make sure that I had something that could kind of make up for that a little bit, and I thought this would be a good way to do it. So I'd heard good things about Fiverr, in that obviously you're kind of guaranteed payment for your work. You get, even if people kind of forget to pay you, Fiverr kind of sort that out for you, and they're also there as a middleman if there is a disagreement. And obviously a lot of people do use Fiverr, so it's a big source of potential customers. I was also very aware though that you don't necessarily get the best rates going through Fiverr. So I knew that I couldn't charge top notch, but I thought, well, it's kind of an easy way to go into this more professionally and to be able to find more small jobs. And I figured that I could always pick and choose what I did. So I've got some notes down here. If I'm looking down, it's because, I'm trying to do this properly and give you all the information that I have. So I set up my Fiverr profile, and I set it up with a couple of gigs, they're called. So you kind of give a title to your gig, and then you say what you're going to be providing and any extras that you can do, how long it will take you to produce whatever it is that you are producing for the job, obviously what you're charging. And there are several different levels that you can set. So because I was just starting out, and obviously I didn't have any reviews on Fiverr, when I first started out, I set my prices pretty low. So not ridiculously low. It wasn't that it wasn't worth me doing at all, but I wasn't exactly making a great deal of profit. But I figured, well, I need to do this to start off so that I can get some reviews, and it's not like I need to commute to go to work or anything like that, so there isn't that wasted time. I just need to kind of sit down at my desk, log in and do the jobs, so I'll be fine. So I believe my first job I had on the 27th of January, and I've had pretty steady jobs since then. I really do tend to pick and choose what I decide to take on. If there's something that I don't feel that either that I have time for, like for example, if I'm doing a NaNoWriMo or Camp NaNoWriMo month, I don't take on very many gigs during that time, just because I'm not able to manage a lot of extra work on top of all the writing that I'm doing. But I will kind of reply to the seller, and sometimes I'll be able to suggest somebody else who might actually be a better fit for the project. Another time that I wouldn't take on a job is if I genuinely don't think that I would do the best of job, like if it's not a genre that I'm very well versed in or something like that. I think the most jobs that I've had within the same kind of genre have been for picture books, and I really love working on picture books. They are just so fun, and they can be so imaginative. But also what's really nice is, obviously, because they're only short, it's quite a small job, so it's not one that that drags out over a long time and that I have to set aside a lot of time for. So I really enjoy those. I've also done some developmental edits on some short stories, so they were cool as well. I've done some blurbs for people. That's very cool. I do like doing the blurbs. That is awesome. And I've also done full-length thriller books and romance. I'm trying to think if there's... Is that all? Oh, and non-fiction as well. I've done a couple of non-fiction books, both for children and for adults as well. So that was really cool. So all in all, I've had 20 orders that I've kind of completed. Oh, that dog doesn't sound too happy, does he? And from that, I got 15 reviews. So I got paid for all of those jobs. So like I say, that's a great bit of Fiverr, is that you are like guaranteed your payment. But for whatever reason, 5 of the customers chose not to leave a review. I have no idea why. I'm lovely. And we were communicating back and forth. It could just be that maybe they were new to Fiverr and that they didn't know how the reviewing process worked, because it's not completely obvious necessarily if you don't kind of search for it. I mean, I was making sure that I did know how to leave a review and to check if a review had left for me, because obviously it was quite important for me with trying to build up on there so that I got some more customers. Yeah, so that was a bit of a shame. I think it's a bit disappointing when you don't get a review, especially when you've enjoyed working on something and you feel that you've done a really good job, and you want to know that the buyer is happy with what you've done. Because I always say, when I send off a manuscript that I've been working on back to them, I always say, you know, please let me know if there's anything that isn't clear, or if there's anything that you'd like me to go into more detail with. You know, it's really nice to get feedback, and there's been a couple of times that writers have come back to me and they've said, oh, could you just explain a little bit more what you mean by this or whatever, and I'm more than happy to do that for them. And yeah, it's nice to know that people are happy with the job that you are doing. So I don't think I've actually had much beta reading, actually. I think maybe only 2 of the jobs that I've done were beta reading. I think the rest of them were developmental edits. And I also looked up, it's 6 books. Yeah, 6 books that I've worked on so far are actually, I know, in print. There might be others that I'm just not aware of. That are in print now, but 6 of them definitely are. And I've met some really cool people, and 1 or 2 of them have actually become friends, and there's a few people who've used me for multiple projects, which is really nice when you see in your inbox there's a message from them saying, oh, would you be able to help me with another one of my stories or something like that. You know, I've really enjoyed that. So overall, it has been a very positive experience, but obviously, so the first thing is that it's always a shame, as I said, when you don't get reviews for the work, because it's nice to have the feedback. The second thing, as I mentioned before, which is a little bit of a negative, is that you can't charge as much for your services as you maybe could on other platforms. So once I'd reached, I think it was 10 reviews, I feel, I put my prices up a bit, just so that I was making more of a profit, because it does take a long time to do a lot of these jobs, and the hourly rate was really not great at all with what I was charging before. So I increased it a little bit. so that I was making a better hourly rate. And while I'm still being offered jobs, nowhere near as many as I was before, because people do tend to go to Fiverr, I think, to get the job done quickly. So I am considering maybe moving on to a different platform at some point, but I don't know. If there's a platform that you would recommend that I try out, then please put it down in the description below. I'm open to all suggestions. It just kind of feels that, like, as I've built up some reviews and things on Fiverr, I don't know. And yeah, I do like the way that kind of Fiverr looks after their sellers and make sure that you get paid. So that is cool. Yeah, and like I say, I've just reached my level 1 seller status, which is cool. So I'm hoping that maybe my gigs will kind of be shown more to people and things like that. So maybe I will receive more orders through that. I've also just become an affiliate for Fiverr. So that's a potential extra little bit of income, maybe, so that I can recommend people on Fiverr, because I know several people who are on Fiverr and do amazing jobs. So if I recommend those to other people, you know, I get a little bit of money if a job is taken on through that affiliate link. So that would be really cool. Yeah, so like I said, it's been a great experience. I've worked on some really interesting manuscripts. I've even worked on a couple of horror short stories, and if you've been around here for a while, you know that I'm not really usually into horror stories, but I'm reading more, and I did enjoy working on those. And I just love the imagination, I think, of horror writers. It just seems to be a genre which really encourages, yeah, the human imagination, and I do like that about it. And yeah, I'm enjoying working on it. So there you go. There's me kind of breaking out of the genres that I thought that I would like to work on. I mean, you know, I'm always like romance at heart. I haven't actually, there is a bee down there, so I'm just being a little bit aware. So if you see me like start shrieking, you know why. Anyway, yeah, I haven't actually worked on any fantasy books yet, and I would love to work on some fantasy books because I just adore fantasy. That would be really, really fun. But yeah, plenty of romance and plenty of children's books, which is brilliant. Anyway, so do let me know if you are on Fiverr and you've enjoyed it, or if you haven't enjoyed it. Please pop down in the description what your experiences have been, because I would love to hear what other people think. If you think that I should be moving my services over to somewhere else, I would also love to know that. Yeah, because I really don't know. I'm completely torn, because I really do like the work on Fiverr, but I do feel that I could be charging more for what I do somewhere else. There we go. And if you do need beta reading or developmental edits done, consider me, because I'm pretty cheap on Fiverr, like I say. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this video today. I hope that it's been interesting to learn about my experiences on Fiverr. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure that you boop that like button. It makes such a difference. And consider subscribing if you haven't already, because we have a lot of fun around here, and I will catch you in the next one.